I'd like to invite Emily Major, who is the Deputy Mayor from the Village of Tivoli, all the way up in northern Dutchess County. Emily?
Emily, I want to say thank you because you've traveled even further than I have.
Well, it's an honor to be here.
And you're the last one to speak, so sorry you had to wait so long.
That's okay, I'll make it brief.
Thank you.
Thank you for doing this, and thank you for the invitation. The Village of Tivoli adds our collective voice to the chorus expressing concern over the request from the Maritime Association of the Port of New York and New Jersey, the American Waterways Operators, and other industry organizations to increase the number of federally designated anchorages on the Hudson River between Yonkers and Kingston. The Maritime Association of the Port of New York and New Jersey stated in their letter to the Coast Guard, dated January 21st, 2016, trade will increase on the Hudson River significantly over the next few years with the lifting of the ban on American crude exports for foreign trade, and federally designated anchorages are key to supporting trade. The Kingston hub of unofficial anchorages just south of the Kingston-Roundcliffe Bridge at Kingston Flats, Port Ewan, and Big Rock Point, in addition to the existing designated berths at Hyde Park, anticipate this increased trade. There are certainly conversations to be had about larger issues, about the environmental costs of energy independence and how to plan for our future energy needs. I'm not qualified to speak to those issues, but as a resident and a representative of Tivoli, which is just north of a cluster of 3 proposed anchorage sites, I can talk about the impact that increased industrial traffic will have on one tiny village and the section of river that we call home. Tivoli was active in maritime trade by the mid-18th century. Wharves and warehouses lined the shore, but the construction of the railroad gradually choked out that business, and by the early 20th century, the riverfront was comparatively quiet, most businesses having moved a mile inland. The waterfront, although currently undeveloped, is well used by fishermen, kayakers, and people, residents and visitors, who come to admire the Hudson and the views of the Catskills. Although there are no proposed anchorages within the Tivoli reach of the Hudson, the traffic that will be encouraged and enabled by this change will have immediate and dramatic physical impacts upon our waterfront. Within yards of the channel, our shoreline is eroded by the wake of each tanker, ship, and barge that passes. Consistent with our local waterfront revitalization plan, the village has engaged the Department of State, DEC, Dutchess County Planning, and Scenic Hudson to stabilize our shoreline with the goal of creating a public park to secure access to the water. Along with this obvious and measurable impact, we are concerned about the environmental effects. Legitimizing the anchorages south of the Kingston-Roundcliffe Bridge in conjunction with future increased capacity at the Port of Albany could potentially allow an endless, noisy diesel parade just off our shore. This would essentially cut off river access to those recreational boaters and fishermen, diminish the quality of life of residents and visitors, and severely compromise the public's experience of this scenic area of statewide significance, which is also within the Mid-Hudson Historic Shoreline Scenic District and the Hudson River National Historic Landmark District. Most worrisome and potentially disastrous is the effect that this would have on the coves and tidal marshes of the Tivoli Bay's wildlife management area and the furred, feathered, and finned inhabitants therein. The Tivoli Bay's area is 1,700 acres of tidal marsh and upland forest with hiking trails, boat launches, and a bike path connecting the village of Tivoli to Bard College. The bays are a designated New York Bird Conservation Area in recognition of its unique marsh bird community, its importance as a staging area for migrating waterfowl, and as a migratory stopover habitat for warblers. Furthermore, the area is a New York State Natural Heritage Area, recognized by the Department of Environmental Conservation to call attention to and protect the rare animals, rare plants, and significant natural communities on this state-owned land. The bays are also part of the Hudson River National Estuarine Research Reserve, which provides field laboratories for estuarine research, stewardship, and education by the DEC. This unique and sensitive site is imperiled by every petroleum product-bearing tanker that passes by, and increasing the traffic increases the risk. We are well aware that accidents or incidents do occur, as evidenced by the running aground of a dirt-bearing barge on the rocks of Magdalen Island in April 2014. The impacts and dangers to Tivoli and other communities, especially the natural resources along the river that would be courted by allowing more federally designated anchorages, are undeniable, and in our estimation, the proposal is unsupportable.
Thank you, Emily. Emily, and you know what's been the greatest thing about tonight? I'm sorry. You know, this concern is not an R or a D situation. This is a quality of life, and it would only take one accident, because they are accidents, that, you know, we have people that have to take their drinking water out of the river. What do we do? And this is about our children and our grandchildren having sustainability with our clean water, because our river is getting cleaner. I water skied in that river for many years. So I thank you very much for traveling, and for everyone that's come tonight and stayed tonight too through the whole session. So thank you very much.
Emily, thank you.